but tonight they've taken it to a different level. And when these games turn out, it felt like a cup final tonight, such as the intensity, the atmosphere, and City have raised and made a very, very good Arsenal team who have, you know, they've set the standard so high this year, made them look very, very ordinary.
Well, City have just been outstanding from first whistle to last, and the opening goal was scored magnificently by De Bruyne. Hang on, there's just a bit of afters here. One or two of the Arsenal players have squared up to one or two of the City players, and it's all ended a little bit inappropriately. I'm not quite sure what occurred.
I think it was White and Haaland have had a little few things have been said to each other. No need for it.
Absolutely not. Grealish came racing on. He was on the sideline a few moments ago, and it's ended a little bit disappointingly, really. But the reality is that City took control of this game very early on. A wonderful breakaway goal. Haaland was brilliant on the turn, got beyond holding, set off for De Bruyne. De Bruyne passed it into the corner for the first goal. Then right on half-time, De Bruyne's free kick, Stones headed it in. Offside, said the assistant. VAR said no, 2-0 the Blues. And then early in the second half, Haaland set up De Bruyne to make it 3. The game was over. A late goal from Holding made it 3-1. And then Haaland added one in the last minute of the game to make it 4. City have been more than adequately 3 goals better than Arsenal, and it is a very fair reflection of what we've seen tonight. The Blues have said to the young pretenders, you'll have to wait your turn. City 4, Arsenal 1. Well, let's go back to the studio where we can join Cal.
Good evening, welcome back to Matchday Live. It is full time at the Etihad Stadium with goals courtesy of that man. Goals courtesy of the man next to him with 2 assists as well. It's finished Manchester City 4, Arsenal 1. I love that man. I love our manager. I love that team.
Come on, you Blues!
Kolo, can you summarise them 90 minutes? What a game of football.
Fantastic game of football, like we said before. 2 fantastic teams. Manchester City team that, you know, dominate that game. Big experience from them, big experience from the manager. They control the game very, very well. Unbelievable first goal, and then the second goal come right at the right time, right before the end of the first half. And then from there you could see that the game was almost finished. And then second half start again, dominate the game again. Very aggressive, putting Arsenal into big pressure. Score a fantastic third goal, and Arsenal score a late goal after. It doesn't change anything. And great hand again from Haaland, scoring a fantastic goal. What a game from Manchester City.
Absolutely, Paul. I mean, Paul, you can see the celebrations there. You can see what it means to the players. I mean, it's the Etihad know what it means as well. We said not maybe fully decisive, but possibly defining, and you can see how much it means to those players. They know that is a big win tonight.
I think the manner of the win as well, Kel. It was look, Arsenal have been absolutely terrific all season, but I think Manchester City, without any disrespect, showed them the levels that you get to. From Ederson all the way through the whole team tonight, everybody was at it. And then you look in the bench, you know, you're bringing Riyad Mahrez on, who just scored a hat-trick in the FA Cup semi-final at the weekend. You're bringing Foden on, who's coming back. You're bringing Alvarez, a World Cup winner. You've still got Laporte on the bench. But we said before, these players know how to win it. But that for me was one of the best performances I've seen from Manchester City for a long, long time, considering the build-up around the game, considering the team they were playing against. And I think that they've set a real marker out again to everybody else to say, this is the levels you need to get to.
The atmosphere was electric today in the Etihad, Steve, and I mean, I've got to say, what a joy to be in that crowd on nights like tonight. But we can see there, huge, 2 games in hand, 8 goals to the better on goal difference, and now only 2 points behind Arsenal. where it was now in both of our hands, it's now firmly in our hands. And how are you feeling as we now get into this, which, well, the proper business end?
Mate, I'm absolutely thrilled. That was a special night, seriously. And as the guys have said, I mean, it's the manner of that performance. Arsenal, they may be top currently, but they'll be absolutely downtrodden after that, because I didn't play for Arsenal, at least next to me, so I can be not less respectful as such, but I'm saying that was a schooling. It really was, in terms of the level of the quality tonight for Man City. They, of course, now they've got some big games, Brighton and Newcastle coming up. It's going to take an awful lot for Arsenal to bounce back from that. Not that I personally care as a Manchester City fan, but it really is going to be really difficult. And City tonight, Kel, they were absolutely immense from man to man. Pep got absolutely bang on, by the way, Kanji at left back. I'm sure we'll talk about it later a little bit more, but just perfection all over the pitch, and the quality. Honestly, I say this a lot to City fans. This is the best time to be a Manchester City fan, so just enjoy it. It really is.
Do you know what, Kel? They're talking about levels. I don't think Arsenal were that bad. I just think Manchester City were that good and didn't allow Arsenal to play. You know, I think we said it at half time, or Kolo said it throughout the game, that City are fantastic with the ball, but without the ball, oh my God. Even at 3-0, we're sitting watching Arsenal got the ball. City have got everybody sprinting back behind the ball to make it so difficult for Arsenal to play. So you can turn around and say Arsenal didn't play well. I think that's a little bit disrespectful to Arsenal. City were so good tonight that they could have played anybody out there tonight and they would have blown them away.
They were at it. They were at it on the game. You could see that they wanted to win that game from the first whistle. Yep. Very aggressive, score early goal. You know, City have that winning mentality, which carry them in the big moments. They want to perform. They want to win those games. And what they've shown today is incredibly great, because they show that this Premier League is for them. Yeah. You know, they will fight to the end to win that, and no one gonna take that from them easily. And the dominance was incredible.
It was powerful, wasn't it? It was powerful. That was the thing that struck me about this City side. It's like Arsenal are a physical side, man, but that was it was strong performance. There was obviously loads of skill involved, but it's the way they won every single battle. And they were like, Zinchenko was marked out by Kyle Walker, but they were pushing him to the ground in a good way. They were winning their physical battles one-on-one, and that stuff, it does intimidate you. Of course it does. And that was at times it looked like men versus against boys, and that's the team top of the table. It was just incredible.
My brother turned to me just towards the end, and when you know you're playing well, when any of them players probably could have got man of the match on that pitch today, that's when you know you're at it. Kevin De Bruyne was awarded it here in the stadium, which I think maybe for me probably did just nick it possibly, but it could have gone to the end, as I say. But Kolo, how impressed were you by his performance and what, you know, he's got to be, for me, the best midfielder in the world at the moment.
Absolutely. Best midfielder in the world, in my opinion. Technically, tactically, his vision and playing with Haaland as well have increased his level of the game, because every time he has the ball, he look for him. And Haaland is a player who make run all the time in the space, which they will love. And because people are really focused on Haaland, that can open gap for him to score, and that's what happened there. You know, because people are so frightened when Haaland running, and then they chase him, they go with him, the centre backs, leave a big gap in the space, and then he can exploit that. But he's been fantastic this season. One thing I have to say, Pep Guardiola is managing him very well, because in the past years, every end of the season, I felt that Demi was a little bit tired.
Kevin's played every minute of every game because he's that important.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, this season you can see he's fresh. You know, he's playing. He has legs. He doesn't get injured, because Pep is, when they're winning a game 3-4-0, they take him out to rest him for the next challenge. Fantastic management from Pep.
I think tactically as well, a lot of the game today, and Kolo said it in the first half, City played 4-4-2.
Yeah.
They played with De Bruyne right up alongside Haaland.
Exactly.
And Gabriel didn't quite know what to do in holding, but that Partey at times was marking nobody, and he didn't really know where to go, because I think Partey thought, my job's to pick up De Bruyne here.
Exactly, yeah.
In that hole. And it was marking nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
So when we did go longer, up to Erling, Kevin was the one that was feeding off of it.
Exactly.
You know, and that little tactical tweaks like that don't always get noticed, but they make a huge difference in the big games like this.
Pep Guardiola once again coming up with the goods and always bringing out the little surprises. Stephen, that was the Kevin De Bruyne goal. unfortunate to concede, but it was a well-taken finish by Arsenal.
Yeah, it was nice. Got a bit nervous, I'll be honest, when they did that, because recently we've seen Arsenal have some impressive fight-backs, but a lovely goal, really nice finish, but that's what Arsenal could do, really, you know. But the most important thing after that was then City put 20-30 passes together just to calm the game down a tiny bit. I was a bit nervous. Were you a bit, Cal?
I was
a tiny bit,
yeah,
must admit, a little bit.
A smidge. But I looked at the performance, and as you say, it kind of filled you with confidence. And Kolo, you said it kind of didn't really change the feeling of the game. And in the dying embers, he gets his goal. He's on the score sheet, one away now from equaling the most goals in a Premier League season, 49 in all competitions. That man, Erling Haaland, and the Phil Foden touch, by the way, for the assist. Unbelievable. But I mean, I daren't ask the question because we've said everything we can say.
Can I just say, by the way, there's a moment Kolo turned to me and went, I would love to play for this side. I mean, you might have used that, I'd love to pay to play for this side. Football is that good, right?
It's incredible to see a team that they're a complete team. They play together. It's like an orchestra, you know, and everybody knows his role in the game. And when you have the ball, you have 2 free solutions all the time. Players moving for you. If you give a bad pass, they will chase the ball, they will run for you. And, this is incredible. That's what, for me, this is a team.
Beautiful,
isn't
it?
Beautiful. Because you work as a team, you're fighting together, and you helping each other on the pitch with and without the ball.
Without
as
the ball, they were sensational tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We don't get carried away, and I think Pep is so good on the players that going game by game. But I said at the beginning of the show, with your 2 games away, of course, against Real Madrid from a Champions League final, an FA Cup final, with a result and a performance like this, and this has been over a few weeks now, if not the last couple of months, it sends an ominous warning to the rest of Europe and any other team that's got to come up against City now till the end of the season. There's no saying that they maybe couldn't go all the way and do something big this year, Kolo.
For me, right now, what City have to do is what they're doing. Managing the players, make sure you don't get injury players. And Pep is doing that very well. Keep them fresh. You don't want anybody to get injured there because the game is coming. They are really vital games. You are right at the end of the season, you're going to play against a Real Madrid team, fantastic team. You have to make sure that you have all your team ready for that battle. And, City are capable of winning all those games, but they have to make sure they just keep calm, stay humble, because in Champions League is the Champions League. The stress will be there because the team haven't won it. Everybody expects them to win. They have the team. Defensively, I think they're really strong. On the middle, they're very strong. Forward, they have players who have the personality. Jack Grealish is fantastic for me. I think you need those players for those big moments, but they need to be fresh.
Yes. It's being fresh, and as they always do, it's taking each game as it comes. Yeah. They never, Pep especially, and he's drummed it into the players not to look too far ahead.
Exactly.
Concentrate on the game at the weekend, get the 3 points, and then whatever game's next, we'll look at that then, not now.
I said Kevin De Bruyne got man of the match, but if we take Kev out of it, because I feel any of them could have got it, I'd like to know your man of the matches. So, Stephen, I'll begin with you. Who got your man of the match?
Erling. I thought he was absolutely immense. And we chatted before this about the Drogba comparisons. I don't think he's ever been more apt. He was absolutely immense. And his link-up play, I mean, the way he was dropping deep, winning the ball, his touch was excellent. Little give and goes of Kevin De Bruyne. He was physically immense, as he always is, but he was just so involved. And I'd love to see the stats because he felt like he had more touches than he usually did. And he got his goal at the end with his hair up, by the way. Beautiful flowing locks. Wonderful
like
stuff.
a L'Oreal advert.
Yeah, it really was. I was trying to chill Scott. She was like, I need his hairdresser. And we were saying, like, at one point, like, we were saying, like, you want to watch him. There's this aura about Erling Haaland when he's on the pitch, and there is a real superstar quality to him. And you can tell that it's not just us as fans feel it, you can tell that the opposition players feel it too. There is a personality to his game, which I think is growing with every single 90 minutes under Guardiola. And I think any weaknesses that he may have had, be it maybe his touch, his link-up play or whatever, they were already good, but they're getting better. And tonight he was physical, and there was a personality to his game as well, which I think wins you games like this.
Absolutely. Kolo, your man of the match.
My man of the match is Jack Grealish, because defensively he did work really, really hard. If you notice, every time Saka had the ball, it was coming to double up.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's demanding physically. It was immense in that. And at time when Arsenal were pressing them high, he was the one who made the difference by dribbling and carrying the ball and pit him on the side. The boy is fantastic, and for me, City need players like that to win the Champions League.
Absolutely, and you can't get the ball off him, and when you try to get the ball off him, he'll get us a free kick, and then it just gives you that moment of calm and slows the game down when you need it.
He winds the other team up as well.
Oh, I love him.
He gets under the skin of the other teams. Well, he does. He does. Do you know what I mean? He draws fouls when teams were wanting to get him top. He kills the game. He now knows when to take players on, when to just take the sting out of the game and give it back. You know, so it's football intelligence is fantastic.
World class talent. Paul, final man of the match for me.
Well, I can't say Erling or Jack now, can I? I can't say Kevin. So
you can pick the winning vote, I guess.
I will between John Stones and Rodri.
Oh, Rodri was great.
I thought Rodri was sensational again, and because we've got that many unbelievable attacking players, it does not within the club, but it goes under the radar.
Yeah.
You know, he broke up so many things today. His positional sense, he's strong, he's clever, and when he gets the ball, he's fantastic. You know, his passing range to start off a lot of our attacks, and Johnny Stones for his goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can probably then round off, and I always love Bernardo Silva. I think the energy he brings to the team, and then he drops into centre mid and bosses that. And yeah, I thought Gundogan as well is another one of those players. Just his brain and technically absolutely brilliant.
Kanji, by the way.
To play out position as well. It's not fair to give a man of the match. Honestly.
It's not, is it? No,
it's a team. Even the manager.
Yeah. Special shout out for Kyle Walker as well.
Yeah,
agreed.
You know, he's been out the team for a little while, and to come in a game of this magnitude and put in the performance.
Absolutely.
We've named everyone now, haven't we? So.
Basically, yeah.
And Ederson and Ruben Diaz were great.
Don't forget the manager.
Those subs as well when they came on. Phil, Alvarez, Mahrez.
We look ahead then. Up next, of course, Fulham away. What a game it was here at the Etihad. If we remember that, it was basically the game with 10 men and Haaland coming on and scoring the penalty. We're guessing there'll be changes, Kolo, and Kevin De Bruyne's just said in an interview, 3 days. That's all their attention will be on. Can you see that being a difficult game for City?
Every game in the Premier League is hard. Every single game. And City have to be ready.
Yeah.
Because this Fulham team is they're really dangerous. And technically, tactically, very strong, very good manager. They know what they're doing. They will be very dangerous on counter-attack for sure. Yeah. But again, City are used to these money time games. You know, that's where you have to be focused every second, every moment, every minute. You have to be really, really focused. They've been doing that before, and that's what they're going to try to do again.
There's so much experience in that changing room now. I've been in that position, and that can take you so much further.
Yeah. Kevin De Bruyne, I think he mentioned recently, I can't remember the exact quote, but he said there was no point in his getting too hyped or too low for a game. He said he treats them all exactly the same because he doesn't achieve anything in his head. He said he approaches every game exactly the same because it's just not worth it, because the added stress you put onto yourself, you treat it as a bigger game than another one. And like that, once again, that's that experience that he's got. He just approaches every single game with the exact same mentality without overthinking it. And that, once again, is experience.
Yeah, it really is. Just before we do a couple more bits, this is a personal question that I've wanted to ask you, because I've got a younger brother, and I just wondered always, what was it like to play with your brother in the same team? I can only imagine that just must be the stuff of dreams.
It was fantastic. You see, again, Yaya is in the bracket of De Bruyne, guys like that, you know.
Best player, one of my best midfielders.
You know, unbelievable player. They are players who can do everything. You know, they can. Yaya could play any position. He play centre back. He play
Champions League final.
He can play number 10. He can play striker. He had everything. One thing I used to love with him is, as a defender, when at time I had the ball on my feet, I was looking. Everything is close, and I'm like, I need a midfield there to come and get the ball from my feet. Yeah, come, give me the ball, give me the ball. You give him the ball, and he found that pass that you haven't saw. Yeah. You know, it was incredible, and I was proud to play with him, by the way, as well, because he's my brother.
Absolutely.
And I saw him grow, you know, and I always thought about him to be better than me, and I was taking my pride from that, you know, because I knew he was going to be one of the best players in the world.
And he was, and you know, Jolie Lescott said a great quote. He said, when Yaya, you had all amazing players in that team, he said, but when Yaya turned up, you'd win the game no matter what. When he played at his best, no one could stop him. So,
absolutely.
Beautiful. So, quick mention as well, Paul. Vincent Kompany's Burnley, champions of the Championship. back into the Premier League. Tommy Doyle and James McAtee back in the team as well now, obviously after the FA Cup. Incredible achievement.
Yeah, brilliant, especially the turnaround at Burnley, from the style they played and the stigma they had around them, to do that so quickly with a turnover of so many players is just sensational, So I'm buzzing for the big man. He's great. Craig Bellamy as well, his assistant who was here. So no, absolutely great. And it's no surprise he's getting linked with big jobs already.
He'll be back one day, man. Yeah. Can't wait.
Next top manager in the league.
He'll be back one day.
He done incredibly great work there. For what he done there is fantastic. His team was, incredible to watch. Aggressive.
The exact opposite from what they have been for the last 10 years.
Unbelievable. Well done to Vincent.
Gents, it has been an absolute pleasure. Kolo, thank you so much. Stephen, Paul, thank you. Thank you to everyone who's been involved throughout the shows before the game as well. Thank you to Pep, thank you to City, and thank you to you. So, of course, we will be back with you for the Fulham game. And don't forget as well, our women's team are in action. It is a hell of a fight for the title crown in the WSL. They are taking on Reading this weekend, so you can get that on City Plus. It is very, very tight up there. So let's fingers crossed that our women's team can do it. Thank you again for watching. We'll be back at the weekend. Enjoy tonight's result and have a wonderful rest of your week. Good night.